From Northern Avenue in Yerevan, this is ＳիվիլNeթ's Daily News Digest. I'm Titizian. Here are the top stories from Monday, February 17. 3 employees of Yerevan Metro are sacked for taking part in demonstrations. Also, Yerkrapah Volunteer Union and Prosperous Armenia Party of Armenia hold their annual conventions over the weekend. Plus, Hidden People takes us to the first ever yoga and pilates studio in Yerevan. And later, modern genetic data offers insights into relations of Armenians with other nations of the world. Amid the pension protests in the country, employees of Yerevan's Metro had also protested the mandatory pension plan last week. 3 of those employees were fired on Friday, 2 days after taking part in the demonstration. The sacked employees, Hasmik Avetisyan, Gagik and Sevak Hovanesyan, had joined their fellow workers to argue that as the reform was suspended by the Constitutional Court, deductions for the pension payments should not be made from their wages. Yerevan Metro has said that the men were not fired because they took part in the protest, but rather because their work was not up to par. The men, however, say that they had never received prior warnings about their work and that they did not receive any written or formal explanation for their dismissal. Earlier last week, the staff of the State Opera and Ballet Theatre, the employees of the South Caucasus Railway Company, and others had also rallied against the controversial measure. More than 30,000 Armenians are now banned from entering Russia as of February 10. At the beginning of the year, Russia amended its migration policy, permitting only a 90-day visa-free stay during a 180-day period. If a foreign national wants to stay longer than 90 days, that visitor must be registered or receive a work permit. Barring that, the visitor must leave the country and can only return after 180 days. If a foreign national extends the period of their stay beyond the 90 days, then he or she will be banned from entering the country for another 3 years. According to the Russian embassy in Yerevan, 31,500 Armenians are now banned, and another 170,000 are included in a risk group. They are Armenian citizens who haven't received a work permit and continue staying on in Russia. Once they exit Russian borders, their re-entry will be automatically prohibited. Most of Armenia's labor migrants travel to Russia for seasonal work. This new law will impede their ability to stay in that country if they are not able to obtain work permits. The number of Armenians officially employed in Russia for 2013 was approximately 130,000 people. The Yerkrapah Volunteers Union and Prosperous Armenia Party held their conventions over the weekend. President Serge Sarkisyan and Defense Minister Seyran Ohanyan, including other high-ranking officials of Armenia's administration, participated in the 10th convention of the Yerkrapah Volunteers Union. Bako Sahagyan, president of the Nagorno-Karabakh Republic, sent a written message. Karabakh War veteran Lieutenant General Manvel Grigoryan was unanimously re-elected as chairman of the union at the Congress, which was held at the Garen Demirjian Sports Complex with over 2,000 participants. The union pledged to maintain independence and peace for Karabakh and to continue in the recognition of the Armenian genocide. The Yerkrapah Volunteer Union, founded in 1993 by Vasgen Sarkisyan, is a large and influential veterans union composed of those who fought in the Karabakh War and has about 6,000 members in its roster. Also over the weekend, the Prosperous Party of Armenia held its 7th annual party congress. Gagik was unanimously re-elected as chair, and in his address to his party faithful said that he could not remain indifferent to the problems the country is facing. He said, "I entered politics with one goal in mind, to be useful to my country and people. I can live a carefree life, but I chose a more difficult path. It is a conscious choice, therefore I am very much aware of the obstacles and dangers." Zarugyan went on to say that he will leave politics the day he sees fundamental changes taking place and when Armenia is progressing as a stable country. Following the Congress, Prosperous Armenia party members Naira Zorabian and Vartan Uskanyan held a press briefing. The former foreign minister said that with this Congress, Prosperous Armenia is entering a new phase, and this will be dictated by the demands of the people and the situation in the country. Oskanyan stressed the importance of continued cooperation between the 4 opposition factions in parliament. Iran and Armenia have held final talks for the establishment of a peace and friendship park at their joint border. This was announced by Masumeh Ebtekar, presidential advisor and head of the Department of Environment of Iran, at the 13th International Environmental Exhibition, Iran Enviro 2014. Ebtekar said that the idea for the Aras Peace and Friendship Park started in 2012 when Tehran and Yerevan signed an agreement to establish a natural reserve on either side of the border to symbolize growing cooperation between the 2 states. The park will cover about 65,000 hectares or 160,000 acres of land along the Arax River. The project will protect wildlife and flora and also promote ecotourism. It appears that Iran is interested in developing deeper relations with Armenia. Iran's ambassador to Armenia, Mohammad Raisi, said last week that the two countries could look into the possibility of establishing a non-visa regime. During a meeting with Armenian Prime Minister Tikran Sarkisyan, the Iranian ambassador said that relations with Armenia is one of his country's top priorities and they are ready to cooperate in different spheres, including energy and transit. As Western sanctions on Iran have eased, the country is poised to develop and diversify its economy, and bilateral and multilateral cooperation with its neighbors is integral to that end. The 12th session of the Armenian-Iranian Intergovernmental Commission is due to be held in Tehran at the end of February. It has also been reported that Iranian President Hassan Rouhani will soon pay a visit to Armenia. The Nagorno-Karabakh Republic is now featured on the popular travel website TripAdvisor.com. The site provides directory information and reviews of travel-related content, including interactive travel forums and user-generated content. TripAdvisor.com lists Nagorno-Karabakh as being in Azerbaijan. The Ministry of Culture and Tourism of Azerbaijan has said it will file a complaint with the website to remove all content about Artsakh. Minister Vugar Sheikh Mamadov said that he will protest TripAdvisor for its actions, saying that hotels in the Republic must follow Azerbaijani laws and all those hotels in Artsakh that do not hold an operating license from Azerbaijan to be removed from the website. For this week's episode of Hidden People on CivilNet, I got a chance to sit down with Hasmik Avetisyan, the founder of the first yoga and Pilates studio in Yerevan. Promoting a healthy lifestyle for women is Hasmik's mission in life. She spoke about breaking down stereotypes, about being a single mother, and running a business in Armenia. Take a look.
In that case, Maria, you should ask me why my studio is only for women.
So why, Hasmik, is the studio only for women?
Just because I want women also feel more confident, exercise, be healthy. Because you know how is women in Armenia, there's how men think, how women should be, you know, the mentality. And that's why I want our women be a little more confident. Because our women after 40, they think,
I know. To watch the full episode of Hidden People with Hasmik Avetisyan, you can click on the link on your screen. Is it possible that Armenians and Chinese share a similar DNA? A new study offers some interesting insights into relations of Armenians with other nations, including the significant presence of Armenian-like DNA in populations in Italy and as far as China. The study, titled A Genetic Atlas of Human Admixture History, published on February 14 in the Science Journal, looked at genetic samples from 1,490 people from 95 populations in the world, including Armenia. Armenian-like DNA was found in several Italian populations. This could be a result of migrations from Armenia as early as the Byzantine reconquest of Italy in the 6th century, or perhaps during the collapse of the Armenian kingdoms and the emergence of the Florentine Republic in the 11th and 12th centuries. Other Armenian genetic connections were found in the Han of northern China, Persian-speaking Hazara of Afghanistan and Pakistan, and Indian Jews, all most likely the result of Armenian tradesmen and merchants along the Silk Road in the 11th to 13th centuries. The greatest genetic affinity, however, comes from our immediate neighborhood. Lezgins had the largest share, followed by Georgians, Turks, and Iranians. Azerbaijani sample was not part of the published study. A program entitled Armenia, Auschwitz, and Beyond will be presented in early March at the Familian campus of the American Jewish University in Bel Air, California, recognizing the 100th anniversary of the Armenian Genocide and in conjunction with the 44th Annual Scholars Conference on the Holocaust. The program will feature Professor Richard Hovhannisyan of University of California, Los Angeles, Stephen Smith of the University of Southern California, and Professor Michael Berenbaum of the American Jewish University. The Annual Scholars Conference on the Holocaust and the Churches is an interdisciplinary, international, interfaith, and intergenerational event. It provides a forum for scholars to report the latest findings in Holocaust research. The exchange rate is up on your screen as we take a look at your forecast. It's going to be a sunny day in Yerevan with a high of 8 degrees Celsius and a low of -4. Armenia's second largest city, Gyumri, will see snowfall with a high of 0 and a low of -8. Stepanakert will have a high of 9 with a low of 0, and our travel forecast takes us to Ashtarak, where the high will be 8 and the low -4. Ashtarak is the capital of the Arakadzodin Mars here in Armenia. It is located along the Ghazakh River near Mount Arakat, the highest peak in present-day Armenia. The word Ashtarak in Armenian means fortress. The city is one of the oldest inhabited settlements, evidenced by Cyclopean fortresses that date back to the 3rd millennium BC and artifacts left by the Urartians. Ashtarak was first mentioned as a rural settlement in the 9th century. However, it grew in importance during the medieval era. The area of Ashtarak eventually became a part of the Arakadzodin canton of the province of Ayrarat in the Middle Ages, and during that time many beautiful and unique churches and fortresses were built, such as the 7th century Garmuravor Church, Spidagavor Church built in the 6th century, and the 14th century Ziranavor Church. Impressive historical monuments are found in Ashtarak's neighboring villages, such as the monasteries of Sarmosavank, Hovanavank, Mughni, Derer, and many more. Ashtarak's importance fell after various foreign invasions and was entirely rebuilt during the Persian rule in the 17th century. Throughout the Soviet and modern era, Ashtarak became a very important economic and industrial city for Armenia, especially in the production of food and beverages. Today, Ashtarak hosts a population of about 21,600 people. And that's our digest for this Monday, February 17. We leave you today with a performance by the Shogagan Ensemble of Ver-Veri. Enjoy, and we will see you back here tomorrow.